同学们好。
老师好。
Hello. So yes, it is the 7th of August. We've got 4 more classes to go in this little summer review of the traditional hand form. So what we'll do as usual is we'll start with a bit of standing practice. I'm not going to review what we did last week. So last week we actually finished up with the what I call the cross arm leg movements, where you're in a bow stance and your front leg and the arm that's doing the work are the opposite ones. This week we're going to do the same arm leg movements. We won't do all of them, but it'll give us sort of a rubric for looking at lots of them. Grass bird's tail mostly is same arm leg. Things like parting wild horse's mane, diagonal flying, strike tiger. So we'll do a quick review of all of those, and just so that you get to see all of those things and have an opportunity to ask questions. The essential for the month, it is now August. Oh yeah, before I go on. So next week we'll do the tap step and some empty stances, and then we'll have 2 weeks to review the kicks and the turns, like all the one-leg stances, and there's a lot of stuff there. Okay, the essential for the month, it is practice continuously without interruption, so you'll hear me talk about this a little bit as we go through the month. But just very briefly, the first question that Master Young always asks is why do we practice continuously without interruption? And the answer really is that it wastes time and energy if you don't. So for example, if an opponent comes towards you, if you completely absorb their energy like, you know, buffers on a train, and then you have to start it up again, that takes a lot of time, and you actually have to do a lot of work to absorb it and then push it out. So ideally what we do is we act as actually like a rotating door. You know, if you push on a door and a door has a hinge, you know, the door will just open and you'll go straight through. What we try to, so that's one way of yielding to an opponent. The other way is you actually trap them in the door and trap their energy in the door and then fling them back the other way. So you're just the hinge, their energy does all the work. That answers the second question that Master Young always asks, which is, what is the method? And so the one-word answer, does anybody know the one-word answer for how do we practice continuously without interruption?
Concentration?
That's a good answer. That we use everywhere. What Master Young, when Master Young gets that answer, he says, actually, what he had in mind, and you never know what he had in mind unless you know the catechism, what he had in mind was circles.
Yeah.
So we just do circles, and so we'll be looking at lots of circles, talking about lots of circles, big circles, little circles, but one of the reasons why we do standing practice is related to this essential principle. So in order to do circles, we have to be soft. In order to be soft, we have to relax. One of the best ways to practice relaxing is standing practice. So that's one of the reasons we do standing practice. So let's do that. We'll just take a couple of minutes. Feet shoulder width apart or a little wider. Feet parallel. Don't trust your body. Look down and see if your feet are in fact parallel, pointing to the front. Because sometimes your body lies to you and you think they're doing that and they're not. So now, still on the feet, feel your weight even forwards and back. So lean forwards, lean back. Keep making that lean forward and back smaller until you're centered front and back. Open your crotch a little bit so that you're even on the inside and the outside. Now bend the knees. Sink the hips straight down. Raise the arms, round the arms. So we have 4 posture checks. I'll let you go through them, but let's just quickly rehearse them. Starting from the hips, it's relax the waist. Drop the hips straight down. And then the other side of the spine has absorbed the chest. So that's opening left, right across the small of your back. As you do that, check that you're not hiking up your shoulders. So number 3, sink the shoulders, drop the elbows. And number 4, raise the head, pushing up, empty, energetic. So we're practicing soft here. So feel the softness and the extension and the opening, not just in your lower back, for example, relax the waist, but also in your arms. So as your elbows pull your shoulders down and out, pulling your shoulder blades open, feel that extension. Feel your elbows carrying the wrists and the fingertips around the circle. Soften and enlarge the circle. Feel your head lifting up or being suspended, and feel the rest of your body hanging down. And use the posture to diagnose, or use your breath to diagnose whether your posture is good. Check your breathing. Abdominal breathing, natural breathing. And let's just stay here for another 30, 40 seconds. Open, soften. Feel everything is a little bit longer. You're a little taller, your arms are just a bit longer. And if your arms start nagging at you, you can always bring them down. We've just spent 2 minutes, so that's enough for now. Just slowly start moving, drop the arms, do gazing at the moon. At your own pace, raise the arms, press down, bend the knees. You're just slowly beginning to move your body. And use this to feel that extension and softening. And when you get to the end of the cycle you're on now, with the hands come below the waist at the hips, pause and stop. And put the hands on the hips and just gently, very gently start rotating your hips. Very small circle. And as always, if anything I say is contradicted by what your body says, do what your body says. And rotate in the other direction, and as you get comfortable you can make bigger circles as you get warmed up. And stop. Okay, so we are going to do a bunch of exercises, but let's start by doing just a little bit of the form. We'll do the beginning again. We've been doing this, it's a great little section, the first 2 chunks of the 3rd section. Because that's got a lot of the movements that we've been talking about. So for example, Fair Lady works shuttles. This is an opposite arm leg. We've got diagonal flying, which is same arm leg. We've got Grassbird's tail, same arm leg. And as you go through it, you can do a number of things. One is just practice soft. Use the form to practice soft. Okay, let's begin. We'll start in prepare, and when I say cross hands, just bring your hands up into cross hands, and we'll make this a little mini form. We'll finish going from single whip back to cross hands and then closing. Okay, third section. Cross hands. Raise the arms. Bend the knees. Embrace tiger. Return to the mountain. Roll back. Press. Push. Transition to diagonal single whip. Diagonal single whip. Wild horse parts its mane. 1, 2, 3, 'Grassbird's tail, ward off left. Ward off right. Roll back. Press. Push. Transition to single whip. Single whip. Fair lady work shuttles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 'Grassbird's tail, ward off left. Ward off right. Roll back. Press. Push. Single whip. Keep going, cloud hands. Two. Three. Single whip. Snake creeps down. Golden rooster. 1, 2, 'Step back, repulse monkey. 1, 2, 3, 'Diagonal flying. Raise hands. Step forward. White crane. spreads its wings. Left brush knee. Needle at C bottom. Fan through the back. Turn body. White snake spits out its tongue. Parry, block and punch. Step up, grassbird's tail. Roll back. Press. Push. Single whip. And we'll stop here with single whip. So go into cross hands, bring the left foot to the front, cross the arms, bring the right foot to parallel, closing. Back to original position. Stop. Okay, good. So hopefully folks are nice and warmed up. Are there any questions before we get started on the proceedings? There was a question from wow, Zoom now is giving me fireworks when I get thumbs up from Rogelio. That's very impressive. Kathy Borman, whenever she put her hand up, Zoom would essentially put her hand up for her. Anyway, so Rogelio asked for a couple of applications that we didn't cover because Susan was in fact traveling. So let's just quickly talk about those two applications. It was thrust palm and white snake. Okay, so let's do.
Thank you.
So yeah, so let's say we're doing turn body, chop with fist, turn body, white snake. So if you think about the form, we're starting here, and then Susan comes up behind me and punches. I feel the punch, I press down, I stop it here, and I come out and I strike. So actually let's turn a little bit more this way, Susan, so that folks can see it side on. So let's say I'm here, you come in, I deflect, I'm going to do a strike. Normally if I'm quick enough and Susan doesn't block it, I get her face. But if she blocks, I still have the fingertips to the eyes. So that's the meaning of white snake, that I can actually get this strike in here. And then of course if that doesn't work, I deflect down and push out. That's the full movement for white snake or chop with fist. The thing that I just want to mention, notice here, since we're thinking about, or I'm using this category of cross arm movements and same arm leg movements. Chop with fist, in fact, is the same arm leg movement. So my supporting leg, my front leg, and my front arm are doing the strike. When I do the other one, it's a cross arm leg because now my arm and leg is crossed. I don't think there's anything really deep. I haven't heard Master Young use this category, so don't get hung up about it. I just find it a useful way to separate movements into categories so that we can review them as a group. So that's the first one. Then the other one is high pat on horse thrust palm. And the easiest way to think about this is to actually start with high pat on horse. And in fact, it turns out that both of these, Rogelio, are sort of a cross arm leg movement and then a same arm leg movement. So Susan grabs me here. I turn over, I grab her and I do high pat on horse, which is a thrust, which is a strike to the throat. She blocks me. What do I do then? And I'll turn around in a second, but I'm essentially going to grab this arm here, hold this arm in place, and then come up and strike to the throat. So let's just come in a little bit so that folks can see that better. So she grabs. I do the rotate and change the grip. And this is a very standard thing that we see everywhere in the form. You know, very often when you do when we do this movement in the form, it's this. So now I control, I strike. She stopped me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my grip. Could you just drop your left arm, Susan? So I'm going to change my grip and now grip with the right hand. That's why the right arm is in front of the chest. And I'm just going to run this arm right up her arm, unimpeded to the throat. And so what we're doing, if you think about the application, it's tiger mouth to the throat, but we show it in the form with the arm straight out from the leg. So again, you know, if you think about high pat was, you know, front arm leg was like this, then I do thrust palm, now it's same arm leg. And again, you know, this is Tai Chi you would expect, yin and yang alternating from one to the other, and that's of course what you see here. Any questions about that?
No, thank you. Wonderful. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Rogelio. Thanks. Okay, good. So, I just briefly want to go through a couple of waist exercises. We won't have enough time to do everything we'd like to do. We never do. But I just want to remind you about the waist exercises. Since this is the month of practice continuously without interruption, that is the month of circles. That means you have to, and where do the circles come from? The circles come from the waist. So that's a good reason to talk about our waist exercises. So I think most of us, you know, I've practiced these exercises, so I won't belabor them. If you have any concerns about your knees, you can do this sitting in a chair, because that way you essentially isolate your hips and you're not doing any work on your knees. So I'll just do it sitting in a chair. But you can do it standing up. It helps to bend your knees. That'll also help stabilize your hips. So waist circles. So the first one is the what we call horizontal circle. So it's going this way. So we'll just go, if I'm mirroring you, to the left, to the right. So we're just rotating left to right. And you can see, in fact, I'm not practicing continuously because I'm going and stopping, and then starting and going and stopping, and starting and going and stopping. So we're going to have to figure out how to add the circles. But first, let's review these circles. So that's the horizontal. The vertical circles. One is the chest is going back and forwards. So back, forwards, back, forwards, back, forwards, back, forwards, and we can go side to side. So side to side, and it's not my arms that are moving. Everybody's doing this really well. I'm seeing just your chest is moving. The arms are really just to have somewhere to put your arms, I think. Now, what you can also do is to turn on the diagonal and do these exercises on the diagonal, because more often than not, your chest and your hips are not parallel. So we can go to the other side. But again, you can see we're doing go and stop, go and stop, go and stop. So now we're going to do the horizontal circle, but we're going to add a turn to it. So turn your chest to the corner, go backwards. Now make a circle around the edge going forward. Now from front to back across the diagonal, go backwards. Make a circle. Front to back across the diagonal. Make a circle. Front to back, circle. So you can see now I'm turning without stopping. and pause. So now let's go back to front, make a circle. That's the other direction, back to front, circle, back to front, circle, back to front, circle. Okay, that's putting circles into the horizontal. We can also put circles into the vertical. The hardest one, I'm just going to turn sideways, is we want to move our sort of the middle of our spine, our solar plexus, we want to move in a circle. Rather than just forward backwards, we want to move our whole the center of our spine in a circle. So let's try that. Go up the back, down in the front, up in the back, down in the front, up in the back, down in the front, up in the back, down in the front, and reverse, up in the front, down in the back, up in the front, down in the back, up, front, down, back, up, front, down, back. So that's this one, and remember we were going sideways. Now let's add a circle to this one. So start at the edge, go down across the bottom and up around the top, down and up, down. We're just doing 4 of each. And when you get to the bottom, change direction. And around. And as your body becomes more used to doing this, and I can see some of you have bodies that are used to doing this, you can start doing what we call the figure eights. So now when I go to the side and turn around, I'm actually coming down across the middle, up around the corner, down across the middle, up across the corner. So that's this figure eight. Being able to make a circle and change direction. So now I'm going up from back to front, around and down, up from back to front, around and down, and just do a few of those. And like all these things, the irritating truth is if you can find 5 minutes to do it every day and you do it regularly every day, it gets easier. But there are so many things that you're supposed to do 5 minutes every day that none of us have enough time. But I can offer it, and we, do it when you can. Good. Any questions? Good. So let's start doing a few exercises. Last week we used the wellness exercises as a template for doing single movement exercises. And we're going to do the same again today, and I'm going to do the single movement exercise for ward off left and ward off right, then parting wild horses mane and strike tiger. There are other ones too, and you can play with them yourself. But let's do that. I will imagine that you're mirroring me, so I will, when I call sides, so for example, if you were to put up your right hand to the screen, this is my left hand, but this would be your right hand. Yes, and Judy says she likes using a chair. That's great. Yes, and I think Judy Stone Goldman maybe even did some seated Tai Chi at one point, or figured something out. Anyway, so let us do, we're going to start here in feet shoulder width apart, arms up, come down, and so this is sort of our opening position. So what I want you to do is to step back with the left foot, your right foot. Step back with the right, and your right hand goes back. Left hand goes forward, close, and step. Now go into what we call ward off right. So you're leaning forward, your left arm is curved in front of you, and your left leg is forward. We call this ward off right. Now we're going to do the other side. So as you shift your weight back, drop the front arm, bring the front foot back. Both arms are now to the side when you're in Charlie Chaplin stance. close to the other side, step out and close, shift forward. Again, this is ward off right, but it's now actually on the right hand side. So let's do a few more of these. Shift back weight, open the arms, change footwork, close and step, come forward. Shift back weight, change footwork, come forward. And just pause here for a moment. So let's just review. You're in ward off, leaning forward, so your torso is in line with your back leg. So just look down your shoulder to your hips, to your ankles. Make sure that your torso is leaning, whatever your stance. If your stance is narrow, you'd be more upright. If your stance is long, you'd be more leaning. Check that your left elbow and your left knee are in a line. Check that your palm is in front of the shoulder and the elbow is a bit lower than the palm. A few more. Open. Arms to the side as the feet up in the same position. Close and step. Now push with the back leg coming forward. Another one. Shift back weight. Front leg and front arm go back. Close and step. Come forward. And we'll finish. Drop both arms. Bring the back foot forward and press down. And finish. So that's ward off right, which is in the form what we call ward off right, where you're leaning forward and you're in this position here. Now we're going to do ward off left, where your torso is vertical, you're looking to the side, but we're going to do it in the same way. And we're going to do it on both sides. Start feet shoulder width apart. Let's just assume you've done opening. So again, this starts in the same way. Step back. Your right foot goes back, your right arm goes back. Close and step out. Now, with body turning to the side, lift your left arm. The right arm is down by the right hip. So this is your ward off left position. Now change side. As you shift back weight, drop your right arm. Bring it all the way across to the left. Close and step. Come forward, lift the right arm, drop the left arm, looking to the side. Other side, as you step back, drop the right arm, bring it all the way to the left. Sorry. And open to the other side. Shift weight back, bring the left leg forward, both arms to the side. Close and step, lift with the right, left goes down. So just check your stance here, check that your torso is vertical, your hip is open more than cornered so that you can get your torso vertical, your right arm is straight to the side, your left arm is sitting in front of your hip. So you're in this position. Head up, looking to the side. Change to the other side. Step back, drop the up arm, bring it all the way around. Close and step. Pushing with the back leg. And again, you're in ward off. Check that your torso is vertical, head is up. And we'll finish. Drop both arms, bring the back foot forward, pressing down, and finish. So, in a moment we'll do parting wild horses, mane and strike tiger, but since we've been doing these ward offs, I just want to really show you how you can do your single movement practice. So let's say you are in ward off right. So perform ward off right. Right foot forward here. So what you can practice, you remember last week, couple of weeks we've been doing, going forward. So now just practice this movement. So going forward and up. Forward and stop. Forward and stop. Here. Forward and stop. So this is this part of your single movement practice. From here we can do rollback. So roll to the side and come back. So now here, let's just do the rollback. So starting in the front, shifting back, shifting back, shifting back with waist turning. So remember, as you come back, turn the waist. Come back, come back, come back. Okay? Now we're going to do press. So rotate the right arm, put the left palm on the right forearm center, come forward into press, press, press. And you can just go backwards and forwards here to practice this energy delivery, and you can go faster and faster. We're not going to do push because I want to change sides. So shift weight back, both arms to the side, close, step out with the left leg. Now you're in ward off. Now this is probably going to feel strange to you because you're not used to doing rollback on this side. But try it anyway. So we're going to do rollback. So roll to the left side and come back to the right. Roll to the left, come back to the right. Come back. And here, this is single movement practice. So you can practice this movement over and over again. And you can practice press. So rotate the left hand, put the right hand on the forearm, push forward, push forward. And here it's mostly a forward waist movement coming from the back leg, which is similar to what we practiced the last couple of weeks. And stop. Good. Now let's do a few more. We've done of the, same arm leg, we've done the ward-offs, rollback, press. Now let's do wild horse partsit main or diagonal flying. Same difference for our purposes as far as the method is concerned. Okay, start in your opening position. Again, we'll start with the right foot going back, right arm going back, close the arms and step. Now make sure that your chest is open, more than corner. You're going to do, think parting wild horse's mane. Shift weight forward and open. Right, so it's this forward and open. Now let's change. So this will be simpler. As you close the feet, just close the arms, step out to the other side. Now swing up the right hand. Right, swing up the right hand. Step back, close the feet, close and step, shift forward and open. Now, the reason why this is quite a nice way to practice is I want you to notice where your right hand is, your lower hand. Make sure that your lower hand is in front of your hip. Very often we develop the habit of opening this way, so make sure that this hand is in front of the hip. One of the things that I find sort of works is the lower fingertips and the upper fingertips point in the same direction. You'll see my upper arm is in line with my upper leg. Let's change to the other side. Rotate the arms, step back, close and step, open. Now I want you to think about the body turning. Step back, chest more than corner. Now as you come forward, turn the chest, so now the chest is more than corner, almost straight. Your upper arm is going to the front direction, your chest is almost straight. Other side, close and step and open. So one of the other things that we often find when we do this movement is we have a tendency to open this way. We open this, we think, oh, I'm throwing my arm, so we open the chest. Keep your chest sinking. This is not 90 degrees, but it's almost 90 degrees. The power is coming from the waist turn, not from your shoulder opening. There's many more muscles around your core than there are in your shoulder girdle. Okay, so that works for diagonal flying, and it works for parting wild horses main. The last one that I want to do is strike tiger. And again, these single movement practice. Yes, Rogelio, go ahead.
Quick question on potential little variant of this exercise. What we were doing right now was this chaplain stance that you said.
Yeah.
In order to do bow stance in front, I guess they were sort of 90 degrees, right?
Yeah, correct.
Because each one is 45.
Yes.
And in this case, your strike is going in front.
Yes.
In either side.
Yes.
But something, I guess, a little more similar to the hand form, the way you walk, would be to keep 45 and do a strike in between corner and straight, then come back and do a strike not to the front, but in between corner and straight. So that would be the analog of the zigzag versus this straight.
Although,
right?
you know, I've heard the zigzag step explained in two ways. One is that it is wider than the standard bow stance. In other words, the angle between the feet is not 45, it's a bit more than 45. But I've also heard Master Young say that the front foot is inside the corner and the back foot is also inside the corner. So it's like, you know, it's like 20-something degrees, and you add up two sets of 20-something degrees and you get close to 45 degrees. So yes, by all, and by the way, when we do diagonal flying, it is 45 degrees. So yes, you can do it that way.
Great.
By all means,
okay.
do it that way. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Nice fine point. Excellent. Thank you. Okay. Let's do and let's review Strike Tiger. And we're going to do it in the same way. Of course, as you know, one of the problems with Strike Tigers when you're learning it is that at some point you're always facing the different direction from the person who's demonstrating. You never know where the heck they are. So we'll talk a little bit about the turn in a moment, but let's just do it in this way so that we can do it as single movement practice. Start in this opening. So you're going to, so let's just think about this, and like that's me explaining that I need to think about this. If you think about doing Strike Tiger, you start with a right heel kick. You step down and your arms go to the side of this stepping down foot, then you do Strike Tiger. So what we're going to do, and I'm going to mirror you now, is step back with the right foot to the corner. Both arms are to the right. The left foot is to the front. As you circle the arms down, flatten the front foot, but don't bend the knee, so your arms are here. Then as you bend the knee, arms come into Strike Tiger position. Now, shift your weight back, bring the left foot in, and drop both arms to the left. Step out and look. Now, as the foot flattens, circle both arms, bringing the chest to square. Keep circling, bend the knees, come forward. Step back, drop the arms to your right, step out and look, circle the arms. So many things we can fine-tune here. Step back, drop the arms to the left and look to the left. As you step out with the front foot, look to the front. Now with body turning, flatten the foot and strike. Other side, shift back weight, bring the foot in, look to the right, arms are to the right. Step out with the front foot, look to the front, circle the arms, bend knee. And again, step back to the side, and now from here, let me just show you, you can just do your single movement practice. Just go forward and back here. Just practice this movement. So you can just practice this movement as many times as you like. Change to the other side, step and look, circle and strike. circle and strike, circle and strike. And this is where you can practice am I coming in with my tiger's mouth, making the fist at the last minute? Are my fists lined up at the end, or is one forward and one back? And all those good things that you'll remember about Strike Tiger. Any questions? Okay, I want to leave a little bit of time for the transition game, but I do want to just integrate these movements into the form, just so that we can look at some of the transitions and the movements. I'm not going to do grass bird's tail, because we've been studying that since the beginning. What I'd like to do is to actually do parting wild horse's mane, because we do left and right, and then we do the transition back to grass bird's tail. So so the red dot is the front for me. So we're starting in diagonal single whip. So if you're practicing the same direction as me, you'll be facing the screen more or less. So we're in diagonal single whip. So let's just go through this, and I'll just call some cues. We'll practice together. Shift back, wait. Turn the left toe more than corner. Arms don't change. Sitting back. Close the arms. Look down over your left elbow as you step out. Circling up. Check your right arm is in line with your right leg. You're looking over your fingertips. Right arm is almost straight. Your left palm is in front of your hips, pointing the same direction as right fingertips. Number 2, shift weight back slightly. Grab and pull with the right hand as the left hand turns over. So both palms are facing each other now. Close. Step, looking over your right elbow. Shift forward weight with body turning. Open the left arm. Number 3, shift back weight. Grab and pull with the left. Open the left toe slightly. Close and step, looking to the left. Shift weight forward with body turning. Open the right arm. Now let's do the transition to grass bird's tail, ward off left. Shift your weight back. Turn the right toe to the corner. Arms don't change. Shift onto the right. Arms close in. Step in and out with the left foot. Ward off left. And since we're in ward off left, just check here. Torso vertical. Left arm almost straight, pointing to the side. Right hand by the right hip. Okay. How was that?
Good.
Good. Okay. So let me just watch you do that little sequence. The one thing that I would suggest for those of you who are comfortable with the movements is to actually try and smooth out the pace. When we say practice continuously without interruption, in Yang style particularly, we want the same pace the whole time, and it's very easy with these big movements. Okay, I'm doing a close now, now I'm doing an open, now I'm doing grab, now I'm doing a close. Try and smooth those out. The other thing that I want to just draw your attention to is when we do, so let's say I'm in diagonal single whip here, the roundness of the arms. So some of us are actually closing, it looks to me quite tight like this. So feel that balloon expanding, feel your chest sinking, feel this is a nice round circle. And remember, and notice something yin and yang. The upper arm is in front and the lower arm is back. And then they change positions. So try and keep that distinction as you do the movement. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to just go through Strike Tiger. One of the nice things about the Strike Tiger sequence, and there are several of these in the form, is you can just loop it an infinite number of times, because you start in a right heel kick and you finish in a right heel kick. And then you can just go straight into Strike Tiger again and just do it over and over and over again. So let's do that together. So let's see. Yeah, so I'm going to practice in the same direction as you. So at the beginning, you'll probably be facing away from the screen. So we've done the right heel kick. So let's just think about the transitions. So you've done right heel kick, sink and step, so the right foot is also to the corner. As you shift your weight to the right, both arms come to the right, look to the right, step out to the left and look, circle the arms down, chest squared as foot flattens, and then bend knee. Here you're doing your strike. Now, number 2, shift weight back, pivot on the left heel. If you can, to the corner, pick up the foot, look to the left, step out, look, circle, and strike. Now here we're going to do the transition to right heel kick. Open the left toe with body turning. Your fists don't change, but your body is pointing to the corner. Shifting your weight to the left, block out with the left arm. Right arm comes down. As the right arm rotates, close the right foot to the side, stand up, and right heel kick. And now you're back in and able to do the cycle. Let me just point out a couple of things that are often things we struggle with. One is just a simple one. And actually, Rogelio, I think we had a conversation about this a couple of months ago. When I'm starting at my right heel kick and I sit and I step here, first question, where do I put my right foot? Just put it wherever it's comfortable. It doesn't have to be exactly parallel to your left foot. The second thing is, do I bring my left foot in and step out? Or do I just step out directly into a bow stance? The answer is, it depends on how far forward you step with the right foot. So if you start with your right foot and you sink and make a big step, let's say because you're adjusting to your opponent, you'll see here I'm more than shoulder width apart. So I would come in and step out. But if I'm just going to sink down very close by, you can see now I've got less than shoulder width apart, I can just step straight out. So just see what feels comfortable, what works with your body and your footwork. The other thing I want to review is the transition out of the second strike tiger into the right heel kick. So I'm going to change direction, and so let's just do this together. So here. So we've done strike tiger, we're in a right bow stance. So from here, I don't have to shift my weight because I'm releasing my left foot, and that's only got 40% of the weight. So, but with body turning, I open that foot to the corner. So I'm turning it through 90 degrees here. Now I'm going to move forward, block out with the left, the right arm is going to come down. As I rotate the right arm, I close my back foot to the side, stand up, check that your crossed arms are to the corner, and kick. And there's your right heel kick. The transition game. Benbow shoot tiger, and 4 is single whip. So from here, drop arms, make a hook, step out,
a step,
deflect and strike.
Strike.
Yes. Okay. So again, drop the arms, make a hook, come out. I'm here. I actually was coming to here and stepping out that way. A learned solution is from here, circle down, make a hook, deflect and strike. So if I'm doing, if I'm in Benbow here, I'm going to push down, and I'm going to end up doing single whip to the corner if I don't change my back foot. So you're on the right, you circle to the left, and then come back and do single whip.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually turned
Nice.
it back.
同学们再见。
老沈。
老气再见。